All right, it's 5:30 p.m. You're almost all ready to go out to the show. You got your fit all selected. You got your hoodie. You got your pants. You got all your accessories going. Your hair is looking great. And the last thing you do before you hit the road is you need to grab a pair of shoes. But you're planning on hitting that mosh pit, so you need to make an excellent choice. I'm here to help you make the best choice possible with this amazing tier list. Now, this tier list isn't going to be about the best shoes to wear on a day-to-day level. This is going to be a tier list about how these shoes feel in the mosh pit, how they perform in the mosh pit, and most importantly, how they look on you when you are moshing. We might as well break out the GOATs right away, the Nike Air Max 90s, and I pulled out my very favorite colorway right here, which is the bacon colorway, and there's also a bit of camo on the pants, so all of that's getting bonus points. If it wasn't S tier already, because of the colorway and because of the camo, it's like super S tier, so we just got to put that at the top of the list, get this shit out of the way. Next up, we're going to be talking about another classic, another staple in the punk scene, in the hardcore scene, and that's the Doc Marten boot. Now, I'm never going to say anything bad about the Doc Marten boot. I think they look really fucking sick. I think they are not comfortable. They are the least comfortable things in the world. But because of how sick they look and because of how much of a staple they are, it makes them kind of an A tier choice. But if you're in the mosh pit, not great for moving your feet around. They're gonna glue you to the fucking floor. And not great for flying around. They're super heavy, super clunky, and you might knock someone's teeth out by accident. So for all of that, I gotta give the Doc Marten a super low rating for the mosh pit tier list. Sorry to do this to you, Doc Marten, but you're only a D tier. But what's worse than the Doc Marten is the dress shoe. It doesn't matter if you got Clarks. It doesn't matter if you went out and got a fancy pair of designer dress shoes. None of that fucking matters. If they're Fluvogs or whatever, I don't give a shit. I could be like, oh man, those shoes look really great in the window. Or if you're going up and down elevators in a fucking office building, I'll be like, those are some pretty sick shoes you got on there. But if you're going to a mosh pit, dress shoes are F tier. I don't like you if you're wearing them, not even one little bit. Okay, we gotta talk about the Nike Dunk. The Nike Dunk has become one of the most hype shoes in the last couple years. Now, there's a couple different varieties of the Nike Dunk. There's the Nike Dunk SB, which is the skateboarding sector of the fucking company. And you know, all the collabs, all the sick shoes, all the rare, really super expensive things are Dunk SBs. Although, some of them are regular Dunks, which don't have like the fat tongue. They're not made for skateboarding. They're made more for basketball. And back in the day, they were just like everyday average college basketball shoe. But today, they're seen as the coolest shoe in the goddamn world. So we gotta talk about them from a mosh pit perspective. I brought out some of my favorite colorways from both the highs and the lows. And the lows is the Strange Loves from a couple years ago. Really sick shoe. But if you're choosing to mosh in this, you know, you're gonna get them guffed up a whole lot. But that shows me you don't give a whole bunch of fucks. So if I saw you moshing in the Strange Loves, I'd be like, dude, pretty sick. But because they're so hype, you lose a couple points, you know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, yeah, okay, you're showing up in your Dunks, fancy boy, whatever, A tier. I can say all of that about the Dunk highs, except for I just love them so much more. Just the basketball ones from way back in the day were so sick with all the university and college colors. But these ones here are one of my favorite recent colorways. It's the Dunk High Carpet Company collab. And if I saw you moshing in those, I'd be like, oh man, I'm so jealous of you in every regard. Super S tier. Next up on our list, we got the Converse Chuck Taylor Lows. A classic, another scene staple. You can get them in any color. They go with any outfit. They're so sick. They're definitely an A tier shoe, but for the mosh pit, they might not provide the amount of support and the amount of protection that you're actually looking for to be performing in such a high level competitive athletic environment. So I'm gonna give the lows a B tier. The highs just look so much cooler. Your steez factor goes up a little bit with the Converse Chuck Taylor highs. They're gonna get you an A tier, kind of no matter what color you got. We might as well be talking about the Comme des Garçons ones as well. And it's kind of the same thing. If you're moshing in your Comme des Garçons, it kind of shows that you don't care about like the hype that's associated with this shoe. But because there is so much hype associated with this shoe, even the high top is gonna land you right here in the B tier. Next shoe on the list is the Vans Skate High. A cool shoe, not a bad shoe, can kind of go with anything, but it doesn't look nearly as sick as the old school. The old school is just a way better shoe. So I'm gonna put them both in the A tier, but the old school I'm gonna put just like a little bit ahead of it. And yeah, that seems like a pretty good order for the A tier so far. Yeah, I'm liking the way that this is looking. And next up, we got the Vans slip-on. If you got the Spicolis, you know, the checkered ones, you're probably looking at like, no, it doesn't even matter if they're the Spicolis. They're gonna be a B tier shoe because you're gonna be dealing with a lot of like slipping on and slipping off. They are slip-ons, you know? And I can say the same thing about Crocs, but the Crocs, I don't know, if you're moshing in Crocs, you know you're showing up with a little bit of irony in your cap. And you're not just wearing them because, oh, they're comfy shoes to go moshing in. You're wearing them because they're Crocs and you know, you're trying to be a funny guy. So for all of that, I gotta give them a C, even though Crocs are super comfy. They are easy to slip on and slip off. You can go to the store real quick in them. I have nothing bad to say about the Croc. If you're going to like your nephew's baseball game, you can show up in a pair of Crocs. If you're going to the mall, you can show up in a pair of Crocs. If you're going to the beach, you get the point. The Crocs are great. But in a mosh pit situation, C tier. Oh, we're getting to some real juicy ones now. Now we're going to be talking about the Sandal. Now I used to play in a band with a guy who played in sandals, and I made fun of him all the time because it was just like, man, we're on stage, dude, and you're out here in your fucking just like leather strap sandals. There's like nothing looked as uncool as the Sandal. But if you're wearing the sandals at a hardcore show where everybody's like worried about their image, they're worried about, you know, how fucking cool they are, who their friends are, what they're seen wearing, you know what I mean? How fucking legit and DIY they are. You're not gonna be wearing a sandal. So it's a pretty big red flag. It's like, this guy does not normally show up here. But if it's like a regular who one day just shows up in the Sandal, he's making a point. And it's the same kind of point that you would want to make with the Croc, but it's less obvious. So for that, I'm giving it the B tier. And like Dan Frampton from a couple years ago, can't believe I'm putting the Sandal so high on a mosh pit tier list. All right, now it's only big boy athletic brand companies coming up. And let's talk about New Balance first. My favorite colorway from the Joe Freshgoods collaboration from a couple years ago is the 995s. No, these are the 992s. Oh man, it's such a sick shoe. But even in the not sick collab, they're kind of just like your everyday average dad shoe. They're not that great, but in a sick colorway, yeah, they really are. They're an A tier piece of footwear. The 550s are also A tier. They are a little bit better, but the 574s, boys and girls, are amongst the coolest shoes that you could possibly be seen in any situation, including the mosh pit. New Balance 574s, seek them out. Wear them, they are an amazing shoe. The Adidas Superstar, also an amazing shoe if you're Fred Durst in 1999. Not a cool shoe, very basic shoe. I hate the toe cap, I hate these fucking shoes, but I used to love them. So it's like, there's a nostalgia place in my heart that's like, oh man, you gotta put them high up on the list. But nah, the Superstar is an F tier shoe. Not a cool shoe. Any Yeezy, if you show up to Mosh in a fucking Yeezy, you're showing up to like kind of flexing people's faces, being like, look at these fucking Yeezys that I got on. And any of these other shoes can kind of do the same thing, but the Yeezy fucking, I would imagine anyway, would suck for moshing. They're so cloth-like, they're so smushy. I bet you could get a lot of like distance in them. I don't know how they are for performance, but I'm not too impressed by the Yeezy. I'm gonna put them right down here in the D tier by the Doc Martens. So I think like the Yeezy and the Doc Martens together, that makes a lot of sense to me. They're like equal. Now a lot of people's favorite Jordan sneakers, the Jordan 11, and especially here in the cool gray colorway, people are loving this. If you're moshing in this shoe, you kind of mean business. You want performance, you want look, you want versatility, and you're getting it all with the Jordan 11. So even though I would never actually purchase a Jordan 11 for myself, for the mosh pit, I can't really argue with them. I think they're super versatile. They look fucking cool, but just not for me, I don't think. I'm gonna put the 11, I can't believe I'm doing this, the Jordan 11 in the cool gray colorway, S tier shoe. And the last pair of shoes you see here, of course, the Jordan 1s. The highs are the ones I'm talking about, but they can be the highs, mids, or lows for all I care. Not a comfortable shoe, you know? But a very cool shoe, a very fucking historic shoe. So the Jordan 1 also along with the Jordan 11 S tier. But that's the sneaker tier list as far as the mosh pit is concerned. If you disagree with me, I would love to hear your comments down below. Okay, that's about it. Until next time, watch more of my videos.